Amino spiking. Amino spiking is when supplement companies add cheap amino acids to protein powder to trick the tests that measure protein content. The standard lab test measures nitrogen, and nitrogen shows up in all amino acids, not just the complete proteins your muscles actually need. So a company might dump in taurine, glycine, or creatine, which cost pennies compared to real whey or casein. These fillers make the nitrogen test read higher, letting them claim 30 grams of protein per scoop when maybe only 20 of those grams are actual usable protein. Your body can't build muscle effectively with just random amino acids. You need the full profile, and amino spiking cheats you out of that. Proprietary blends. You've probably seen proprietary blend on a supplement label and thought it sounded fancy or scientific. It's not. It's a loophole that lets companies hide how much of each ingredient they actually put in. They'll give you a total weight for the blend, maybe 500 milligrams, then list 5 or 6 ingredients underneath without telling you the breakdown. That means they could stuff it with 490 milligrams of cheap rice flour and just 2 milligrams each of the fancy extracts they advertise on the front. Those expensive ingredients you bought it for might be present in basically homeopathic amounts, but legally they can slap them right there on the label and make them look important. Fairy dusting. Fairy dusting is when a company sprinkles in a trendy ingredient at laughably low doses just so they can slap it on the label. You'll see things like collagen, hyaluronic acid, or whatever superfood is hot right now listed in the ingredients, but if you check the actual amount, it's basically homeopathic. Studies might show that an ingredient works at 500 milligrams, but the product contains 5 milligrams. It's not there to do anything, it's there to catch your eye and make you think you're getting something special. Legally, they can claim it contains the ingredient, which is technically true, but functionally it's useless. Nitrogen manipulation. The Kjeldahl method measures nitrogen and assumes it came from protein, since protein contains nitrogen. So, if you spike your product with cheap nitrogen-rich compounds that aren't actually protein, the test still registers them. Melamine became the go-to choice because it's dirt cheap industrial waste with an insanely high nitrogen content. Chinese manufacturers added it to milk powder and pet food, and suddenly watered-down products tested as protein-rich. The test can't tell the difference between nitrogen from real protein and nitrogen from a plastic precursor. Thousands of infants got kidney stones, pets died, and the whole scam worked because one test assumed all nitrogen meant nutrition. Serving size games. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and it still works like a charm. A company will shrink the serving size down to something unrealistically small just to make the numbers look better per serving. You'll see a protein powder claiming 25 grams of protein and only 120 calories per scoop, which sounds incredible until you notice the serving size is 28 grams, when literally every competitor in the category uses 30 to 35 grams. The difference seems tiny, but it lets them shave off calories and bump up the protein percentage, while you're actually getting less product per shake than you would with any other brand. Third-party testing lies. Some supplement companies slap official-looking seals on their labels that mean absolutely nothing. They'll create their own certification badge or use a legitimate testing organization's logo without actually paying for the full testing process. The cheaper route is paying for a test that only screens for banned substances like heavy metals or steroids, which sounds good until you realize they're not testing whether the product actually contains the protein amount listed on the label. That's the expensive test. So a tub might pass for contaminants but still be half air and filler. Other companies just Photoshop a seal onto the packaging and hope nobody calls the testing lab to verify. Underfilled containers. You've seen this one 100 times without realizing it. A company sells you a massive tub of protein powder or Greek yogurt, and when you crack it open, the product only fills it halfway. Technically, everything's legal because the net weight is printed right there on the label, but your brain doesn't read fine print when you're standing in the aisle. What you see is a big container, and big equals more. The empty space inside is just air, sometimes justified as settling during shipping or room for mixing. But really it's about shelf presence. A larger package catches your eye and feels more substantial in your hands, even when you're getting the exact same 8 ounces as the smaller competitor next to it. Fake science studies. Companies love funding their own studies to prove their products work miracles. The trick is simple. Hire a lab, test your face cream on 20 people for 2 weeks, compare the results to doing absolutely nothing, and suddenly you've got clinically proven results. These studies rarely see peer review, and when they do get published, it's often in journals nobody's heard of. The sample sizes are laughably small, the testing periods are short, and they conveniently skip comparing their product to competitors. But slap "backed by science" on the label, and most people won't dig deeper. It's fake credibility wrapped in the language of real research. Collagen padding. Collagen padding is when protein powder companies blend cheap collagen protein into their whey to cut costs while keeping the total protein number high on the label. Collagen comes from animal bones, skin, and connective tissue, and it's way cheaper than whey. Here's the problem. Collagen is an incomplete protein. It's missing or extremely low in several essential amino acids your body needs for muscle building, especially tryptophan and low in leucine. So when you see a tub advertising 25 grams of protein per scoop, maybe only 15 of those grams are actually the good stuff your muscles can use. The rest is just inflating the number while doing almost nothing for muscle growth. Fake flavoring claims. Natural flavors on a label sounds wholesome, but here's the reality check. The FDA's definition of natural is loose enough to drive a truck through. A company can slap that label on a product even when most of the actual taste comes from synthetic chemicals mixed in a lab. The natural flavoring might technically be derived from something that once grew in the ground, but by the time it's processed and combined with artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and synthetic aroma compounds, you're essentially drinking chemistry. The strawberry flavor in your drink? Probably created from wood pulp derivatives and combined with lab-made esters. It's legal, it's common, and most people have no idea they're consuming it. Expired ingredients. Some manufacturers save money by using protein ingredients that are right at their expiration date, or even past it. Technically, these proteins might still pass safety tests, but their quality has degraded. The amino acid chains start breaking down over time, which means your body can't absorb them as efficiently. You're essentially paying for protein that doesn't work as well. On top of that, degraded proteins are harder to digest, so you might deal with bloating, gas, or stomach cramps after drinking your shake. The protein powder still looks fine sitting in the tub, but what's inside has already started falling apart at the molecular level before you even opened it. Misleading concentrate. This one's about whey protein labels and how companies play word games to make you think you're getting something better than you actually are. Whey isolate is the premium version. It's supposed to be at least 90% protein by weight, with most of the fat and lactose filtered out. Concentrate is cheaper, usually around 70 to 80% protein with more fillers. Some brands will slap whey isolate in huge letters on the front, but if you flip to the ingredients list, you'll see whey concentrate listed first, meaning that's the main ingredient. They might add just enough isolate to technically claim it's in there. The ingredient order matters. It's listed by weight, so first ingredient means that's what you're mostly getting. Matrix marketing. Walk into any supplement store and you'll see proteins labeled with terms like protein matrix, anabolic formula, or advanced delivery system. These phrases sound scientific and cutting edge, but they mean absolutely nothing. There's no official definition for what makes something a matrix versus just a blend of different protein sources mixed together. Companies slap these buzzwords on basic whey casein combinations to justify charging you double or triple the price of regular protein powder. The actual ingredient list reveals the truth. It's usually just whey concentrate, some casein, maybe soy or egg protein thrown in. You're paying premium prices for fancy marketing language wrapped around ingredients you could buy separately for a fraction of the cost. Influencer deception. You see a fitness influencer with an incredible physique promoting some protein powder or workout supplement, claiming it transformed their body. What they're not telling you is that they're getting paid thousands of dollars for that post, sometimes tens of thousands depending on their follower count. The real reason they look like that? Years of professional training, a strict diet managed by nutritionists, and in many cases, performance-enhancing drugs like steroids or growth hormone. The supplement they're hawking had nothing to do with it. These companies know most people won't get similar results, but they also know that showing someone with an aspirational body next to their product sells units. The influencer pockets the cash and moves on to the next sponsorship deal. Heavy metal contamination. Plant-based proteins can soak up heavy metals from the soil they grow in, and some companies know this but choose not to test for it. Lead, arsenic, and cadmium accumulate in rice protein, pea protein, and hemp powder at levels that can actually cause problems if you're drinking these shakes every day. The trick is simple. If you don't test for contaminants, you don't have to report them. Testing costs money and might force a recall or reformulation, so some manufacturers just skip it entirely. They rely on the fact that heavy metal poisoning is slow and hard to trace back to any single product, so customers won't connect the dots for years. Free-form amino dumping. Some supplement companies load their protein powders with free-form amino acids instead of complete protein peptides, and while that might sound like you're getting the same thing, you're really not. Free-form aminos are individual building blocks floating around by themselves, whereas actual protein comes in chains that your body breaks down gradually during digestion. When you dump a bunch of isolated amino acids into your system all at once, they flood your bloodstream fast and get metabolized quickly, often before your muscles can actually use them for building tissue. It's like trying to build a house by having someone throw individual bricks at you randomly instead of handing you organized stacks. Companies do this because free-form aminos are cheaper than real protein, but they'll still count them toward the total protein number on the label. Fake before, cheers afters. If you've ever seen those dramatic weight loss ads or skin cream testimonials, there's a decent chance you're looking at complete fiction. The most common trick is just reversing the order. Someone gets in shape, takes the after photo, then deliberately gains weight or stops their routine for the before shot. That way everything matches, same person, same lighting, no Photoshop skills required. Other times it's straight digital manipulation, smoothing skin, or trimming waistlines pixel by pixel. Some companies even hire models who are already fit and just pad them up or use unflattering lighting for the supposed before image. Either way, what you're seeing as proof is manufactured backward. Subscription traps. This one hooks you with something like 70% off your first order of vitamins or razors or meal kits, and buried in the fine print is a subscription you just signed up for. The discount only applies once, then next month they charge you full price, and the month after that, and the month after that. When you try to cancel, the website makes you call a number that puts you on hold for 40 minutes, or you discover you're locked into a minimum commitment of 3 or 6 months. Some companies add a cancellation fee on top of that, sometimes $20 or $30 just to get out. They bank on you either not noticing the charges or deciding it's too much hassle to fight it. Counterfeit products. The counterfeit product game works because people trust packaging more than they should. Scammers manufacture fake versions of popular supplements, cosmetics, or electronics, and sell them through third-party sellers on legitimate marketplaces or discount retailers. The packaging looks almost identical to the real thing, maybe with a slightly off logo or misspelled ingredient, but most buyers won't notice until it's too late. Inside, you'll find cheap fillers at best or outright dangerous substances at worst. People have gotten heavy metal poisoning from fake makeup and mystery chemicals from counterfeit pills. When you contact the actual brand to complain, they'll tell you they can't help because you didn't buy from an authorized seller, leaving you stuck with whatever damage got done. Bogus certifications. This trick is all about slapping impressive-looking seals on your product to make it seem legitimate when there's actually nothing backing them up. You design a fancy logo, maybe call it the Institute of Quality Standards or Professional Testing Laboratory, and suddenly your supplement bottle looks certified. Terms like lab verified, quality tested, or clinically proven sound official, but they're completely unregulated. Anyone can use them. Some companies take it further and pay certification mills that hand out badges to anyone willing to fork over a few $100. There's no real testing, no standards, just official-looking graphics that make shoppers think someone credible checked the product when nobody did. Price anchoring scams. Price anchoring works by making you think you're getting a steal when you're really just paying what the seller wanted all along. A store marks a mattress at $3,000 but runs a perpetual 50% off sale. You walk in, see 1,500, and feel like you scored. The thing is, that mattress was never going to sell for 3 grand. The inflated number exists purely to make the real price look good. Retailers know you anchor to that first number you see, so they jack it up and slash it down in one move. You think you're saving money, but you're just paying exactly what they plan to charge.